Israel is not the enemy of the Palestinian people. Israel is not the enemy of the Arab people. Israel cares for the Palestinian people more than their own leadership cares. Actually, Palestinian leaderships want Palestinian people to die, and that's a reality. It has been like this for so many years. There's no need for them if people don't die. Israel has the power to invade, destroy most of the Arab capitals in a matter of hours, if they want to. But they are not doing it. If the picture was the opposite, if any Arab country had the power Israel has, they wouldn't hesitate of destroying the state of Israel. Mahmoud Abbas wants to look the good guy. How? By making Hamas look uglier. The uglier Hamas looks, the more terrorists they are, the more moderate he has become. We're full of hatred, they wanted to blame somebody that led Palestinians from disaster to a disaster, that Israel was their problem. They still don't see this. We need to accept the reality on the ground. This is the easiest way towards this. But Palestinian leaderships want the impossible. Why? Because they want the conflict to continue. It was part of this delusion, that Israel was the cause for our misery. We grew up, buying hatred and projecting hatred. It's agreed with the majority of the Palestinian people, which came at very high personal expense. And I choose to stay an honest witness for my own truth. A sense of responsibility towards, first of all, my people. I'm not promoting for Israel, the ones who have not experienced what I experienced within Hamas leadership. I'm very familiar with their minds, with their ambition, and with their mistakes, how they misled the Palestinian people. Israel, to me, at the end of the day, is a democratic country. Fair democracy, dictatorships. Israel is the only true democratic model in the region. This is a fact, and this is a reality. And what we need actually for the region is more models of Israel. So many other ethics and values of the Israeli constitution makes the country advanced and livable, and people from every path of life can coexist with each other. There are Arabs in Israel. They're citizens of the state of Israel. They have rights. They have members in the Knesset, even though they don't serve in the army. Are the Jews of the Arab countries. But in the meantime, let's see how many synagogues, in the Arab world. Where are the synagogues in Jordan, in Iraq, in Saudi Arabia, and other Gulf countries? There's nothing. There are no Jews. And the world talks about the Palestinian refugees. And we ask question, how about the Jewish refugees, who left everything, their property, their gold, their money, and they lost everything. Definitely double standard, the way we are discussing the reality of the Middle East.
Absolutely. How did you come to this mindset? Because that is an extraordinary transformation. You were and still are the son of one of the founding members of Hamas. You know Hamas inside out. You know the Palestinian leadership. You know how that your mind was poisoned to believe such a narrative. And now you have a completely different perspective. What was the trigger that actually transformed your mindset and saw the truth as you see it?
It's by observation, This is what science is all about. We observe and we make sense of what we see. And there are facts. You cannot deny them. You know, of course, people in their political delusion, they can deny things, you know, and they can accuse Israel, and they can praise the predator, you know. The people can say whatever they want to say. I am responsible for my words, and I speak with the authority of my experience and first-hand observation of the reality, knowing Hamas leadership, knowing Palestinian Authority leadership, and knowing that they are the enemies of the Palestinian people. And every now and then they start a war. So for me, you ask me what triggered that? It's an evolution. You know, it's like we grew up witnessing the first Palestinian Intifada. And during the first Palestinian Intifada, you know, I was next to a cemetery, and we witnessed death on a daily basis. As children, we thought Israel was responsible for that. Not knowing the truth that Palestinian leaderships sent children, instead of going to schools, they forced them to go and confront with the IDF. And they sent suicide bombers, and they sent all type of individuals to commit terrorist attacks, killing civilians. Started by stabbing with a knife, with a gun, and eventually it became suicide bombing attacks with the name of nationalism. That by doing this, we're going to emancipate ourselves from what's so-called occupation. Now the question is, does any Palestinian leader really want the Palestinian conflict to end? If the conflict ends, they don't profit anymore. There is no need for them anymore. This is why they ask for impossible things, that they actually, there's no solution for their political ambition. There is no satisfaction. Nobody can satisfy them. And they know this truth. But by sending people to die, the world has to pay them off, you know. And this is the fuel for their endless cycle of violence.
65% of the residents of Gaza are living under the poverty line because of the totalitarian regime of Hamas in Gaza.
The funds that come to Hamas in Gaza, they're invested in building tunnels, building a military wing, rather than bringing milk to the children of Gaza. Now, you see, it's like the reality. This is how I observe it. I don't know how intelligence services see it. I don't know how the donors in the European Union see it. And I don't care how they see it. For me, I see Mahmoud Abbas cutting electricity from the Gaza Strip, cutting milk, medicine. Now the situation in Gaza Strip at the edge of another conflict. I see Mahmoud Abbas wants Hamas to attack Israel. So Israel will attack Hamas. As outcome, children will die. So this is the Palestinian leadership mentality. When they don't have money, when the United States cut funds or reduce the funds from Mahmoud Abbas, he would say, sacrifice few hundred children in Gaza Strip so the world can outrage against Israel. And Mahmoud Abbas will raise billions of dollars out of this suffering. How he is going to spend it, I don't know. Gaza does not have electricity, does not have medicine. People are dying. Children are dying in hospitals because they don't have electricity in the hospital. They don't have medication. The average person, you know, who don't know all dimensions of this conflict will look at Gazan children dying, and it's going to be just exchange of a blame. You know, they just want anybody to blame. Israel is going to be the party to blame. Even though Israel will open its hospitals, even though Israel will ask civilians to evacuate, to get out from certain areas so they can come and deal with the tunnel problems, and Hamas will force civilians to stay. And in their ignorance, they will stay. There will be civilian casualties. Instead of blaming Israel, you need to blame the party that used civilians as human shields. So this will bring us again and again, like how many dimensions to this conflict and how it's played by infinite forces of existence that does not even start with Mahmoud Abbas and Hamas. Mahmoud Abbas considered, the moderate Palestinian leader. His partner. He's a criminal. But of course, he knows how to get away with it. He knows how to manipulate the international public. And this is why I don't like blaming Israel. It's the easiest thing to do. Just blame Israel, what's so-called occupation, which is non-existence. And I say non-existence because Palestinians have the opportunity of being independent. And Israel will definitely help them. Israel has no interest of controlling the Palestinians' lives. They don't take taxations from them. They don't need nothing from the Palestinian people. Actually, the Palestinian people take a lot from Israel. And Israel is willing to give more and more to help them on every level. Israel is always at defense. Always. 99% of the wars that happen between Israel and Arabians, Israel was at defense. And possibly the only time it launched a war against Egypt, it was also in the understanding of defense. So the world can go on of denying this reality and this truth. But we all will pay a price. And it's time for us to take responsibility, to choose, which side, and I'm not talking about taking side of Israel as a political regime, but taking the side of a successful model that respects the human dignity, respects the human rights, and open for all type of people, for all religions. We have all religions practiced in the state of Israel. And this is another reason, if you ask me why. When I look at Israel and see Christianity practiced freely, Islam is practiced freely. There is a civil constitution that has the upper hand. This is the model that I would like to see in other Arab countries. In the Arab world, the upper hand is for the religious authorities. It's not for a civil constitution. It's to the culture and the unwritten law. This is not good. This is not going to help the human evolution. We need to understand that this is against the evolvement of individuals in the Arab world. This is another reason why I choose to believe in the Israeli model, in the democratic model. In the Arab world, they teach people to believe. In Israel, they follow the Western model of education. They teach people to doubt. And I like to teach people and the generations to doubt, not to believe. To believe in theories. This is why we have all this problem, self-deluded people who go and blow themselves up, thinking that they're going to go to paradise. It doesn't get darker than this. This is the problem of belief. And nobody wants to be a traitor. For me, it was a choice I made. I knew that my people will consider me as a traitor. I knew that. And it's by choice. And I'm not afraid to be labeled as a traitor because I know what I am. And I don't need the validation of the majority of our people to come and tell me what you did was right or wrong. For me, I stand for my own truth. And I'm not concerned of the lies of societies.
How can other people like you break that powerful hold that the likes of Hamas, Hezbollah, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, any other kind of dangerous Islamist faction out there, how can that cord be broken? Well,
you have to be willing to die first. You'll have to have the courage to assassinate your ego, everything you learned, all your conditioning. You know, this is a universal problem. That's a human condition that we are facing. You know, oppression, violence, corruption, manipulation will keep many people in darkness. And yes, people are afraid. You know, I was afraid. I was afraid to go against the flow of the society. You think I was not afraid getting into the unknown, writing a book that condemned me, and it was like crucifying myself. So I don't expect from everyone, you know, in that region to go on a suicidal mission like me. And not to be afraid of who you truly are, and go out to the society and tell them, this is what I did, this is my individuality, I don't regret it, and I share it with you because I would like for you to see through my lenses. This does not guarantee that they will know my truth. I am the only one who is capable of knowing my own truth. This is the book, and revealing the events of my life in the form of human language that is two-dimensional, that cannot defend itself, is a shadow of truth. But I made it available for the individuals who are willing to transcend politics, to transcend culture, to transcend human mind, and see a higher truth of what's happening. It came from a place of love, place of responsibility. Nobody forced me to write the book. It was a suicidal mission. But again, projecting what I am in that book was much more dangerous, much more challenging than hanging out in a room full of explosives and suicide bombers. I am the only one who is capable of knowing my own truth. This is the book, and revealing the events of my life in the form of human language that is two-dimensional, that cannot defend itself, is a shadow of truth. But I made it available for the individuals who are willing to transcend politics, to transcend culture, to transcend human mind, and see a higher truth of what's happening. It came from a place of love, place of responsibility. Nobody forced me to write the book. It was a suicidal mission.
Mosab Hassan Yousef, I just want to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to interview today, and I found it fascinating, and I just want to thank you for your bravery and your courage to actually confront the truth and not worry about the circumstances. So thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you very much.